Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content I will be covering today will be in the world of wrestling inside the WWE world. In today's bonus segment, I'll be sharing my WWE dream matches that we never got in the company's history. Now, I could be sitting here all day with you guys, all day long, talking about several dream matches that I've came up with, but I made a list of the most important WWE dream matches I truly believe we've never gotten in the company's history. Starting off with match number one is the dream match that we never gotten was between the Phenom and the Undertaker and the Icon Sting. It's a shame that we never got this dream match between the two iconic wrestlers, the two Hall of Fame legends, because both of them have officially closed the book in their respective careers and are both officially retired. And it has to go down as one of the biggest what ifs in wrestling history if the Undertaker and Sting had a match or a historic program in a feud between the two respective wrestlers. And this match had the potential to happen several times in the past. When WWE outbought WCW back in the early 2000s, when you've seen several WCW wrestlers come over to the WWE, Sting was not one of those wrestlers that came from WCW to the WWE. It actually took Sting a total of 14 years to finally come to the WWE, and when he debuted it in 2014, at that time it was too little too late. Both the Undertaker and Sting were out of the prime of their careers at that particular point, and even if they were out of their prime, that match still could have happened at WrestleMania 31 in 2015. And instead, WWE decided to go with Sting versus Triple H. And I'm not saying that The Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt was not a bad feud, but man, that has to go down as one of the biggest what ifs in wrestling history if you actually pulled the trigger and gave The Undertaker and Sting that legendary dream match that a lot of wrestling fans truly wanted. Next dream match that we never got. How about Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Hulk Hogan, a dream match that we truly never gotten. And I think missing out on the opportunity to have Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Hulk Hogan in a WWE wrestling ring has to go down as one of the biggest missed opportunities in the company's history, because both of these guys defined WWE and help mold and create the product of what it is today. You look at what Hulk Hogan did in the 80s. He was the biggest star, the biggest wrestling star in the world, and put the WWE on the map. Then you look at a decade later what Stone Cold Steve Austin did for the company in the 1990s with the Attitude Era, going head-to-head with WCW. If it wasn't for Stone Cold Steve Austin, would we really be talking about sports entertainment today? It could have been extinct back in the 90s because of the head-to-head competition with WCW. But when Hulk Hogan came back to the company in 2002, you really could have had the dream feud between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan several times. But I get it, WWE went with a different route and had Hulk Hogan versus The Rock, another dream match that actually exceeded a lot of expectations. But you still had several opportunities to have Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Hulk Hogan, the two biggest stars in the company's history, going head to head in a wrestling ring. What a big missed opportunity that went down as. Another dream match was Shawn Michaels versus The Rock. Now, Shawn Michaels versus The Rock should have been a match that could have easily been made back in the day, but I feel like timing was the issue for this match truly never happening between the two iconic wrestlers. Shawn Michaels was going through a lot in the 90s. In-ring work was top tier, as always, when we thought about the Heartbreak Kid. But you could tell he was going through a lot of things in life. And he actually disliked The Rock when The Rock came to the company in 1996. He had a bad taste in his mouth about Dwayne Johnson. And Shawn Michaels went out with a broken back, didn't return to the company until 2002. When he returned to the company in 2002, The Rock was on his way to becoming a Hollywood star. So timing was an issue, and one of the reasons why we never got a dream match between Shawn Michaels and The Rock. Now, this next dream match is absolutely wild. The dream match that we truly should have had was between Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero. Now, this feud between Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero truly could have fed families. Of how perfect, how picture perfect, I'm just imagining in my head how perfect that feud would have been between the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and Eddie freaking Guerrero. Man, arguably the greatest in-ring talents in WWE history, Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero. That's how special both of those guys were. But both were a part of the WWE in the early 2000s. The only reason why I truly believe we never got this match was the brand split. You had Shawn Michaels on Raw for a long time, and then you had Eddie Guerrero on SmackDown from 2002 all the way until his passing in 2005. But it's so sad that Eddie passed in 2005 because the reports said that Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero was actually the match that was supposed to take place at WrestleMania 22 in 2006, with Eddie Guerrero eventually winning the World Heavyweight Championship from Batista and Shawn Michaels winning the 2006 Royal Rumble. Oh my gosh, what a match that would have been. What a feud that would have been between Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero. Next dream match, Kurt Angle versus Daniel Bryan. Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan are in that conversation for being the best technical wrestlers of all time out of all wrestling companies. Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan were two technical wrestlers that you could never get bored of watching. But I think the reason why we never got this match was timing was an issue. Kurt Angle left the company in 2006 and was a part of TNA for the rest of his prime years, with Daniel Bryan officially coming off the indie scene and coming into the WWE in 2009. But this still would have been a fun match because it still had time, with Kurt Angle finally coming back to the company in 2017 and Daniel Bryan being cleared to wrestle in 2018 again after retiring. So you could have had at least one match between Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan in 2018 or 2019. I mean, that little face-off that we seen in 2018 and the greatest Royal Rumble, a forgettable pay-per-view, but we seen a 60-minute glimpse, 45 to 60-minute, 60-second glimpse between Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan. Man. The final one I'll put on here is Brock Lesnar versus Batista. That is a dream match that we truly should have gotten. I'm really surprised that we really didn't get this match. And the reason why I put this one on the list, I could have put any other one on there, but it's mind-blowing that Brock Lesnar and Batista never had a match with each other. I mean, they were a part of the 4 stars that were brought together to the company from the OVW roster in 2002. I'm talking about the stacked Fantastic Four roster of John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, and Brock Lesnar. A stacked OVW class, and there was never another stacked OVW class like that. But again, timing was an issue, and I think the reason why this match never happened because the brand split in the early 2000s. Brock Lesnar was a part of SmackDown, with Batista being part of Raw, Batista was part of Evolution at the time, riding the coattails of Triple H, Ric Flair, and Randy Orton. He was not a main event star yet. Brock Lesnar was already a bona fide star, already beating guys like The Rock, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Kurt Angle at the time. And Brock Lesnar leaving the company in 2004 really opened the door for Batista to be a main event star because Vince was looking for new stars to step up to the plate, main event caliber stars step up to the plate left and right. The animal Batista was born. But when Batista came back to the company in 2014, timing was not on his side for his return because he was disliked by fans because of how he was pushed, forced to win the Royal Rumble when he was not the right guy. And he was booed out of the main event scene, forcing his one-on-one match with Randy Orton WrestleMania to become a triple threat match for Daniel Bryan. That really didn't sit well for Batista. His run in 2014 was very cut short. And I think the fans are one of the reasons why of that. Fickle fans out there. But with that being said, you really could have got this feud in 2014. But I think with Batista not being happy with his run, he left. And really, that was the end of Batista. He had one more match in 2019, but that was really the end of Batista. But those are my WWE dream matches that we never gotten. That is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.